Hola, mi gente. Welcome back for another episode of Tea with V podcast. I look forward to sharing today's episode with you.
I'm your host, V, an Aries mom juggling dental tools and real estate deals.
And I'm your co-host C. I'm a Cancer with a heart as nourishing as my skincare routine. Steeped in style, steered by inspiration.
Pouring the perfect blends of fashion, skincare, reviews, love, and motivation.
Tune into the Tuesday Tea with V podcast.
Don't forget to subscribe and leave us some love.
I had done a reel that went viral. A lot of the comments were from some moms who were saying how they didn't get that break or they didn't have that free time to go out there and necessarily be able to date or just do things for themselves, which is really sad. And, or just people saying how do you do it? How do you balance and juggle being able to go out there, one, obviously be a mom, driving to and from activities and just the everyday hustle and bustle of school and after school activities and taking care of your children and that quality time and making sure that they're well taken care of, but also that you're well taken care of on top of you working and you dealing with everything that you have to do for yourself as well. How do you find the time to then fit love into your life? So an episode that I wanted to do today that I thought would be a good one would be to cover how to date and integrate a love life or love into your life as a single parent if you don't necessarily have the means or the time. There are little things that you can try to do. And remember, one thing I think we should keep in mind is when we really want something, anything in life, right? Whether it's something for ourselves, something we want to accomplish, something we want to do. Sorry, I keep looking at the door. I keep seeing. So that's what we're going to talk about today. We are going to talk about how to date as a single parent in which you don't have two parents living in the home. I've gotten so many comments. I'm like, one comment was like, you're not a single mom, you're a single parent. I was like, oh, okay. Anyway, so whatever you want to identify as, if you're one of those, then by all means. But just one parent household is, I guess, the best way to put it. Just because you're a single parent, you're a single parent household, does not mean you have to put your life on hold. I don't know where that idea came from for people. That is crazy to me. You're still a human. And you are allowed to get out there and be with someone, and I know that it is hard because you are a full-time parent. If you aren't co-parenting with the other parent, it may not be as easy. So you do have to, maybe it takes some extra planning on your part, but you do deserve some time to yourself. And I think it is very healthy for you to do that. If anything, I think it's absolutely necessary. Even if it is 3 or 4 times a year, you get to do something fun or special. I think that you should have the right to do so. Now, we know that dating as a single parent household is difficult, between taking care of your kids and working, your career. It can be tricky trying to find that time for yourself and let alone, to incorporate someone else into those plans outside of your regular day-to-day. In this episode today, I want to share how you can balance a work and career with your home life, and then also making sure that your kids are well taken care of, making sure that they're in good hands, making sure that they're safe before you go ahead and make that time for not only yourself, but for someone else entirely. Finding the time between all of that and bedtime routines and everything else you have to do, it can almost feel impossible to do. And I do get that, and I do completely understand. And I think the hardest part comes in when you find someone that you really click with, you're happy with, you really enjoy all your free time that you do get to spend with the person, and you start yearning for more, whether it be more time, whether it be getting more serious. You can't just bring anyone around your kids. And that was a whole big thing too. The pressure of bringing someone around your children. Don't ever feel pressured by anyone into forcing you into thinking you need to rush to bring someone around your kids because to show them how much you care, how serious the relationship is. Don't let someone make you feel like that is absolutely necessary, because if they're going to make you feel like that and you're just not ready yet because of what you've been through or what you've gone through, or just because you are a protective parent over your children, you're not going to bring every person you date or you're hooking up with, or so you're not just going to bring them around your kids. And if they feel like that and they feel it's like a deal breaker, then maybe that person's not meant to be in your life. And someone that knows that you're worth waiting for, they're, worth waiting to meet your kids, like they'll have no problem doing so. Not everyone will be in a rush to meet them. I think it's a little bit easier too when the other person is a parent also. They can understand where you're coming from as far as like, all right, yeah, I would never bring every person around my child. I also know that like mom guilt kicks in, right? I think mom guilt kicks in, I don't know about everyone else, but daily, like, did I do this enough? Did I, emotionally connect with them enough today? Did I make sure they got enough of this today or that today? I think if not every day, every other day, that little voice, that mom guilt kicks in. But you have to remember, this is healthy for you. I saw some gem of a comment on my my social media where and I think it was from a guy too, where they said, you have to take care of yourself in order to be good for everyone you're taking care of. And I think that is so true. Keep yourself healthy, do the things you have to do for you. Obviously, you're never going to put your needs before your children's needs. That's not something I recommend, but you do have to take care of yourself also and not feel so guilty about doing that. Go at your own pace, especially depending on, there's so many different things that, to take into consideration, such as like how recent your breakup, separation, divorce has been, right? What your kids are going through, their ages, girl, boy, like there's so many things. There's no rush for meeting them, I think it would be very selfish of a partner to kind of put that pressure onto, whether it's, because there's obviously men out there with children too. So for you to put the pressure on your partner of like, oh, I got to meet your kids again. And in due time, if that's the right person and you see like everything's aligning, hey, maybe it isn't someone you're going to marry in the future, but you guys are very serious and there's potential there and you've been together for a while and you really trust this person, maybe it is time, but you have to judge that for yourself and just be, take the safety concerns into consideration. Not only safety, but, remember, your children are also going to form a bond with this person, right? They're going to connect in different levels with this person. So you don't want to introduce this person and then you guys break up and then your kids are there to like left to pick up the pieces again after, it's not good. It's not healthy for them to have to go through that. That's like my personal opinion. So I feel really strongly on that. You do have to treat dating and making those special date nights or days or however you can incorporate it into your life as a business meeting. I think if you treat it as like, if you had a business meeting or something going on in your career, you would make it a point to be there, right? You would make it a point to make arrangements. You would make it a point to have a sitter for your child. And make it happen. So you kind of like have to treat it as such. As far as like finding a sitter. Now, for me personally, I only like to do family members, and there's only certain family members that I do trust, such as my grandmother. So a grandparent, a mother. My mother's no longer here. So obviously that's someone that I would have trusted and I did trust with my oldest child, but she's not here anymore. So I do have my grandmother. Maybe you have just one babysitter that you trust, someone that's known you for a long time, someone that babysat you when you were a child. You can have that one person that you do trust. But even if it is a family member like an aunt, you guys might have more, a lot of my family is far. I'm from Brooklyn originally. I was born in Brooklyn, but I've been in Jersey for, all my life pretty much. People that I do trust aren't so close to me per se, but you guys might have relatives that are closer that you trust. Or find one good babysitter. Find someone in the neighborhood that you do trust. Find someone, a friend even. Maybe there's a friend that you can trust. They could say, hey, and you can give them some money for helping you out or take them out to eat for a dinner, find ways to like repay them where you can work together. Another solution that I have is play dates, maybe swapping play dates. That's like a big thing now because nobody plays outside. So they go to each other's houses and they hang out with each other. So maybe one day, I've done this before where, you could say, hey, is it okay if my child, they play today for a couple hours at your place and then next week they can come to mine? You know, swap out play dates with someone. That's a pretty good solution into having a sitter or someone help out so that you can go to dinner. You can, you know, you have a few hours to yourself to plan something with someone. Remember, it doesn't have to always be like an overnight stay. Those are nice, but you know, if you can't, you make it work. Also, depending on your schedules, kids are in school. I mean, obviously, if you have very young children, I mean, I don't know if you're a stay-at-home parent and you're just with your kid all the time, but that's not necessarily always the case. So when your kids are in school, if you have a day off during the week, plan it then. You can find the times to do it. Not everyone needs a huge support system. I definitely do not have a huge support system at all, like at all. I literally have 2 people that help me watch my kids, you know, and it's pretty much like family. And that's about it. I won't leave my kids with anyone else. I won't just find a random babysitter. You know, so I know what it's like to really not have much of a support. I don't know what it's like to not have any support at all. But I do feel for you guys out there, you know. I couldn't even imagine. But like I said, there are little ways that you can kind of figure it out. If you're just starting out dating out there, you want to keep maybe the first few dates low key and casual. I'm sorry, maybe I should put my phone on silent. It, of course, never goes off this much, and now it's just like nonstop. You know, want to keep those first few dates low key and casual. Maybe go for coffee or a quick lunch date or something, so that you're not sacrificing as much time away from your child. You know, so maybe that helps with you feeling like, okay, I'm not sacrificing that much time away, but I'm also able to still get away, get that little recharge, and also get to know someone that either you're dating or, you know, that you have interest in. And also what you can do is like, let's say you don't want to ruin your child's routine throughout the day, right? You want to be there throughout the entire day. You want to be able to put them to bed at night. Plan a date night for after they go to bed. You know, obviously don't leave them there. Have someone that can stay there with them and watch them. If you do have a little bit more of a support system, then you can plan to head out after you put your child to bed, and then, you know, go out and have your date night, have your overnight or whatever it is that you plan. But that's another way to do it if you really don't want to take time away from your child at all. Keep your dating life separate from your child. You know, you don't want to talk about it in front of them, depending on their age, obviously, of course. If you have older kids, you might feel more comfortable discussing, you know, maybe you're pretty open and honest. So like you'll tell them you're going on a date with such and such, if it is kind of, you know, but that also like depends on their age too, how long you've been separated and all that good stuff. You don't want to share too much, you know, because kids are resilient and they can portray themselves as strong and they want to like be there for their parents. But remember, they're young and you don't want to put all this pressure onto them that's like really just unnecessary, and they should have no business in your business, at least in that dating aspect. And remember, with that whole mom guilt thing, moms deserve love too. Dads deserve love too. No matter what kind of single parent household you are, whether it's a mother, a father, you know, I'm not just speaking for moms here. I mean, I tend to say that because I am obviously a mom, but I speak for dads too. There are single dads out there, and, you know, everyone deserves love. Everyone deserves love. Everyone deserves to find love, whatever that means to you. You know, whether that maybe you don't want to get serious with someone again. Maybe you do just want to go out there and see what's there and have some fun and, you know, enjoy your free time. And that's fine, you know, but everyone deserves that happiness and that joy. There's nothing wrong with that. Being a great mom doesn't mean sacrificing happiness, your happiness. You know, I always remind myself that your children will benefit from seeing you happy also. You know, when you're happy and you're taking that time for you, it shows. And in turn, your kids will be happy seeing you happy, just like you love to see them happy. It works the same way. Being a single parent doesn't mean giving up on love. It doesn't. So don't think that, don't feel that. If it's new to you, it might feel like it's hard or feel like it is, but things do get better. And I think when you start, I feel like my voice is so raspy today. I'm so sorry. I don't know why. It's like terrible. I think I'm just like so thirsty. Parents does not mean giving up on love. It just means you have to be intentional with your time, you know, which I think you should be anyway. Like, be intentional with it. Use a planner, you know, lay your schedules out for you and your kids and what you guys have going on, where you have to be on certain days, and look at the calendar, the month, even if it has to be the month ahead. Sometimes it just works like that. Look and see, okay, where do I have time, open spaces on here where I can plan ahead. Planning ahead always helps. I love planning things ahead. I hate when people try to do, and not that spontaneity is a bad thing or a terrible thing. Doing things last minute sometimes can be the best times, right? I definitely agree. But I like to have, for the most part, things planned out and scheduled ahead of time, especially as a parent. You kind of really have to. But don't kill the spontaneity. So if you want to go and ask someone out, last minute, or so you get some free time or they get some free time, definitely don't not ask the person, because I'm sure they want to see you just as much as you want to see them, or vice versa. Find a system that works for you. Set boundaries, and don't be afraid to enjoy yourself and be yourself. Because at the end of the day, remember, we all put on a mask, right? We put our best foot forward when we're like first getting to meet someone. I think that's just natural. But don't be afraid to be who you authentically are to yourself, because remember, as a single parent household, you're limited on your time as it is. So you don't want to waste time. But again, that ties back to what it is you're looking for, what it is you want. But if it is something serious, you want to make sure you're being your authentic self as much as possible, as quickly as possible. Be an open book, be open to, conversations, ask questions, don't be afraid. I think that was one thing that was like my issue, was afraid to ask questions, or, for feeling like I don't want to cross certain boundaries. But you have to ask questions. Don't be afraid to ask questions. I think that communication is probably one of the biggest factors of any relationship. And I think why so many of us are afraid to ask questions at times is because we don't want to ruin what we do have with someone, right? Like, if things are going good or what have you, you're afraid that if you do ask a certain question that it can taint the relationship that you have, or, or scare them away. But if it does, is it really worth hanging on to and getting more attached or being more involved, and then it happening later? I think you're better off dealing with that from the beginning, like the get-go. Are you a single parent that is trying to navigate this whole dating scene? Are you someone who, you're in it now, you're in the midst of, because I can't tell you how many comments and things, I got on that reel. And it's so funny. You can always tell who the butthurt baby daddies were that were on there, and like going off on me as if I'm their baby's mom. But it was so funny because they'll go off on there, and I knew every single one that would write certain comments on there. I was like, yeah, you're definitely not with your baby mom. And she was either up on my video, liking it, commenting, or you just are so hurt because this is what she's doing and it sucks. But they're probably doing the same thing. So it was so comical to me, because it's very obvious, projection is a big thing, right? You project what you are. And especially when it's something so like angry and full of hatred, usually that's because, it's something like turmoil that you're dealing with in yourself. So try to remember that too, for people out there that are, you either get told something terrible, or people are just rude or condescending to you. Not saying to accept it, don't ever accept it, but just remember, that's their issues to deal with, not your own. The way we react to things, that's where we have our control. Don't let stupid bullshit ruin your day or make you feel less than. Like, it took me a long time to realize all of that, but once you do, life is so much better. Let me know some of your biggest challenges in the comments. I would love to see them, definitely, and help out where I can. Whatever experiences that I can share, I would definitely love to share them on here. So that is my video today and my thoughts on this whole topic. I thought it would be a good one to share just after. The comments on that one don't stop. I've posted content after. It's just every day, like, overwhelming the amount of comments that I get on that video. I think I did link it in my last video. I linked the video up top somewhere, but that was the video from my YouTube account here, so my channel. So if you did click on it and check out the video, that was the YouTube version short. It was a short. The actual reel is on my Instagram page. You can go ahead and follow me at Tuesday Tea with V. That is my Instagram handle. And on TikTok, I am Tears and Tinis. But I usually link everything down below, so definitely check all that out. You should be able to click it and follow me and find me on social media from there. Also, don't forget to subscribe. Please subscribe, leave some comments, leave some love. Thank you so much for all of the support as always. I love being able to make videos for you guys. I'm definitely going to try to incorporate more vlog styles. I have something special coming up. And yeah, I look forward to talking to you guys soon.
Love,
Take care.
light, peace, V, and C.